You may see yourself as a critical thinker, but in reality, you may be drifting. Here's why. Family, we are back on the Entrepreneur Mindset series. I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite books, actually, by Napoleon Hill. Right? He wrote Outwitting the Devil after he wrote Think and Grow Rich. There's a specific part of that book that talks about critical thinking, or just thinking, and then drifting. Now let's break it down. Before I do that, make sure that you subscribe. You click that button right there. Smash that button that's right below me and subscribe to the channel, right? It helps me spread the word out there. Every time you hit subscribe, the algorithm picks it up and then it pushes it out to more people. So please help me do that. Do me a favor. Also, if there's something that just jumps at you throughout this video, drop it in the comments below and let's have a conversation, right? Let's have a back and forth talk. That's what this is all about. Now, going back, one of my favorite books, again, it's the Outwitting the Devil. And in this book, there's a very specific passage in it that talks about thinking and drifting. I think it's a very important thing to keep in mind as entrepreneurs, right? Everybody wants to, well, not everybody, but a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, right? And they have the entrepreneur virus inside of them, and there's just a niche that they want to go out there and then do something. However, unfortunately, there's certain things that have to happen in order for you to become an entrepreneur. Risk tolerance is one of them. Having the tenacity, the grit, being okay with rejection, being able to adapt to a dynamic environment is another one. So there's a lot of things that entrepreneurs have to cope with, right? One of the biggest ones, without a doubt, it is going to be the conversation that's happening within those 6 inches between your ears. Are you having original thoughts? Are you having your own thoughts, or are you just drifting with the noise and everything that's happening around you? Okay, so there's a big difference. Entrepreneurs have a nag for critical thinking. Okay, call it an affinity for having original thoughts, and a lot of times the noise that's happening around us doesn't really impact that thought, right? Because we kind of live in this space that's ours. We create our own little bubble, our own little universe of the potential, the possibilities, of the things that we can achieve, with the dreams that we can have, of the shit that we can actually get done, right? So we get excited about that kind of stuff, and then we start just going on thought after thought after thought. But it's all driven, and I mean all of it is driven by that critical thinking seed, right? So when you come in, you put some real thought to it. You sit with yourself and you figure out what you want as an entrepreneur, what you want from life as an outcome, right? You can start crafting this vision. You can start creating this environment where you give yourself the opportunity to create actions. Now, that's the critical thinking side. What about the drifters, all right? They refer to drifters as the average person who just goes through life without questioning, without asking themselves whether or not they're even on the right track, right? So the drifters in this book are people without critical thinking, and everybody can have that, right? Just not everybody does it. So it's important to have that awareness as entrepreneurs. You can have original thoughts. You can choose to think, or you can let yourself be guided just by the noise, by social media, by what's happening in politics, by what's happening around you, by the circumstances or situations that happened as you were growing up, by the limited financials around your environment, if that was the case. So if we don't pay attention to that stuff, we're not aware that we can do something about it. It's very easy to drift. It's very easy to drift mentally in that space. It's very easy to just kind of go along with life and make decisions that are not even ours. It's just kind of going through the motions. And you see that all the time. You see that people who are fed up with their jobs, who hate their life, they haven't gone on vacation because they feel like they can't either afford it, they're not worthy of a vacation, it's whatever. But those thoughts can put limiting beliefs on us, right? And those limiting beliefs are gonna have us acting in a certain way. Now, if you're not aware, if you don't come to terms with the idea that you can actually do something about that kind of stuff, you can have critical thinking take over and choose your options, choose your actions, choose the path that you want to follow, aim for something, it's easy to become a drifter, right? So there's a big difference between people who have critical thinking and actually thinkers, and then the drifters. Drifters are led by noise, right? Led by noise, again, social media, led by circumstances and the noise around. Now, thinkers are driven or led by personal power, a sense of personal power. When you sit down and you actually think and you question the stuff that's going on around you, question the sources of information that you're looking at, and then you add your own critical thinking process to it, now you have something, right? Now you have something that's synthesized and it's somewhat yours, and it's a more crafted piece of information that you can use to take you to that next step, to that next level, whatever that may be. Now, there's a big difference, again, big difference. Thinkers have that personal power mentality. Drifters are driven by noise, by circumstances. There's really, there's a deficit of personal power happening in there. So take ownership. The biggest thing that I want to emphasize here is that we have the ability to take ownership of our thoughts, of our emotional state. We have the ability to take over the path that we want to follow. We are blessed to be part of a country that gives us the space to craft our own path, right? Now, take advantage of that. Be a thinker. Don't be a drifter. Be led by personal power, not by the noise around you. It really comes down to taking ownership of your thoughts, of the path that you want to take, right? So it's about understanding yourself, understanding who you are, understanding where you want to be over the next 3 years, 10 years. What kind of person do you want to become? And adding thinking to it, all right? Thinking is a very important word. Adding thinking to it, critical thinking to it, not just drifting. If you're drifting, you're not going to become that person. You're not even going to know who that person needs to be, or if that person could ever exist, right? Because you're not going to tap into your potential. If you're drifting through life, just kind of swiping through social media and listening to news, and then just being the victim of everything that's happening around you without being proactive and taking action and stuff, you're going to drift inevitably. It's just what happens. Now, understand who you are, know yourself, figure out where you want to be in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, and start crafting that vision. Start crafting that, that emotional imagery of what your life can be, and taking the steps to fulfill it. So write it out, see it, own it, put it in a place where you're constantly reminded of that person who you want to become, and then practice it. Practice it intentionally. Critical thinking is going to take you a certain distance. The rest of it is action, right? But if you're taking the wrong actions because you're just drifting, you have no idea where you're headed, none of that's going to help you become the person you want to become, right? So thinkers versus drifters. Are you a critical thinker and are you being driven by personal power, or are you drifting through life and just being led by the noise and then the circumstances and situations around you? We have the ability to take responsibility for ourselves. We have the ability to take responsibility for our actions. We have the ability to take responsibility for our own personal power. Don't waste it. Stay focused. You got this.